What's going on, guys? It's John here from Hot Take Hockey to talk about 5 players, more specifically 5 pending UFAs that are going to need a big playoff performance throughout a playoff run. And we're going to break down each of these 5 players' situations, where they fit on their current team, and what a huge playoff run for them individually could do for their UFA status come July 1st, 2019. So let's start off at the top. One of the biggest fish on July 1st will be Sergei Bobrovsky, pending UFA, goalie of the Columbus Blue Jackets, the last team to clinch a playoff spot. Bobrovsky has had Vezina caliber seasons, one after another, but he just can't perform in the playoffs. He's struggled to perform in the playoffs. If Bobrovsky can come into this playoff and win a round or two for the Blue Jackets, it's going to be tough because they're obviously going to play a #1 seed. It's going to be tough. So Bobrovsky needs to come and steal the show and hopefully show that he can be a starting goalie for years, as well as be a playoff performer. And I think teams that could be looking out for him would be like the Buffalo Sabres, Florida Panthers, maybe even like the Calgary Flames. Number 2, Jake Gardiner. Gardiner, it's obvious. Last playoffs, you saw the choke he had. He's a player that obviously struggles in playoffs. Sometimes he just struggles in general with his defensive play, his giveaways, but obviously that has shown to be more obvious in important times. If Gardiner can step up and play really well for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they can go for a run and he can have a really solid individual performance in the playoffs, then that could really improve his UFA status. And we're talking about comparison of $5 to $6 million to in around $7 million for Gardiner, and that $1 to $1.5 million extra per year obviously could be a lot of money and could give him a lot more opportunity if he comes to perform. Number 3 is Semyon Varlamov, another goaltender. I really think for Varlamov, he's not going to be needed by the Avalanche next year. The Avalanche could look in a different direction. Obviously, they have Grubauer now. Varlamov is going to need to show that he can still be a starting goalie, and this will be his opportunity in the playoffs. He needs to win the job. He needs to stay in the games in the playoffs, and he needs to show for July 1st that he's a guy that a team should sign to a starting netminder's salary. Number 4. You can go either way, or we could just talk about both of them. Matt Duchene and Ryan Dzingel, one or the other, both of them really, with the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets went out and gave up so many assets to get these guys, and they're pending UFAs. They need to come and perform. Yeah, we can talk about Artemi Panarin, but everyone knows who Panarin is. We really don't know who Duchene and Dzingel are in clutch moments, who they are in the playoffs, and we're going to see how they are in the playoffs, and that's going to make a huge difference, and that will make a huge difference on what a team pays for them in the offseason. And number 5, this is a guy that came from the Edmonton Oilers, now with the New York Islanders, Jordan Eberle. He's on a $6 million AAV contract right now. With how his statistics are going and just the way he's playing, that's probably the max he'll get in the open market. He might get a little more from more of a desperate team, but really Eberle is more of a supporting cast at this point. He really hasn't shown that he can drive a line, and I think that's the one problem for Eberle. But Eberle, we've seen him be clutch in big moments. Obviously, going back to the World Juniors, he's done it with Team Canada in the World Juniors. He's been clutch for the Oilers. He's racked up points. This is an opportunity for him to come to the playoffs and maybe not get a point per game, but he's got to show that he can come up in the big moments. He needs to show that he can contribute at a high level. He needs to show that he'll stick in that top 6 for the New York Islanders, and in the open market, he'll definitely get paid big time. A couple honorable mentions we'll talk about. Kevin Hayes with the Winnipeg Jets, obviously traded from the New York Rangers. He could be a big addition on July 1st. He needs to show that he can be a big second line presence for the Jets. And I think there's a couple other names we have to talk about. One being Gustav Nyquist with the San Jose Sharks from the Red Wings. He's a guy I could honestly see maybe even returning to the Red Wings, but he's a guy that could be middle of your lineup, solid second line, score 20, 25 goals. I think he needs to prove that he can provide some secondary scoring on that third line with the Sharks, and for the Sharks to have a big run. And Derek Brassard, who didn't fit with Pittsburgh, his stock isn't high right now, so he needs to prove that he can play either a top 6 or secondary scoring role with the Avalanche to at least get a lot of interest on July 1st. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel, hit a thumbs up, comment your opinions. This was John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.